southern-bred, southern-fed, slick-talking guy. Listeners in his posse are the junkyard dogs, the SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. From Gainesville up to Lexington to the Tide and Tiger Land, nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
Testosterone high today.
Yeah, Tom's a man, he's got the plan, he's really got it made. What a wife he's got, she's smoking hot, check out the junkyard babe. When everything is said and done, no one can beat his show. He's a high-tech redneck, Tony Soprano. If you love sports without the fluff, he's got the master plan. 'Cause nobody does it like Thom Abraham, yeah.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
It must be Wednesday. I called it hump day.
Uh-oh. Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is?
It's hump day.
Anybody? Mike. What day is it, Mike? Let's guess what today is.
Hump day.
Woo-hoo!
Oh, my goodness gracious almighty. What an eventful night of country hardball last night. I mean, I know we are knee-deep in football. Certainly. And we got a lot of football in this show today, as always. But the Rocket City Trash Pandas took game 1 in their best-of-3 series in Knoxville last night. We'll play game 2 and 3, if necessary, tomorrow night and Friday night if necessary. And then the Southern League Championship next week. And in Atlanta, the Braves clinched their playoff spot with a win over Washington.
And his first pitch to him is socked to left center and deep. Arcing back toward the wall. That one is gone. 2-run home run, Travis d'Arnaud. And the Braves grab the lead in the 4th inning, 2-0. Here it is from Finnegan again. Hit hard. Right field, deep. Thomas back. Looks up. It's in the chop house. Dansby Swanson with an opposite field blast. And it's 3-1 Braves. Jansen rears back. Fires. High fly. Center field. Deep but playable. Michael Harris. Short of the warning track. He's got it, and the Braves win.
Braves win, and they clinch their playoff spot. Now they're still in a battle. The Mets won again last night. Mets have won 6 in a row. Braves have won 5 in a row. It's still 1-game separation. About 14 games to go in the season. They go this afternoon at 11:20. It'll be over on Zone 4, okay? That's why you got to have the app, so you can listen to the Braves over there on Zone 4 if you want that as well. The real magic, though, just indulge me. The real magic happened last night in Yankee Stadium, where the Bombers entered the bottom of the 9th, down 8-4 to the Padres.
3 infielders on the left side for Judge, and here's the 3-1. Drilled deep to left field. There it goes. Number 60. Slide over, babe. You've got some company. Aaron James Judge has tied George Herman Babe Ruth with 60 home runs. Two balls, 2 strikes, nobody out, bases loaded. Judge has hit his 60th home run. Now the Yankees are trying to win the game. That one's drilled to left field. Is it high enough? See ya! A walk-off grand slam, and the Yankees win. Judge hit 60, and the Yankees win in walk-off fashion.
Be still my heart. That was last night, and it was absolutely amazing. My son Danny comes over a lot of nights and watches the Yankee game with me, and he was gone, and he had just left, and I'm texting him, yeah, you see what's going on here? This is history. He says, yeah, right when I walk out the house. Texting Joe, he's at his house, and he's like, holy crap. I mean, it was amazing. And if you want me to ignore that to run down the 2023 SEC football schedule, you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. I mean, this is such a great time of year. But we will not pretend that other things are not going on in the world of sports. I mean, just so freaking exciting last night. Just so good. And, look, all we are looking for in life is a little bit of balance. That's all we want in our sporting life. Just a little bit of balance. Okay? On Sunday, I had to witness 90 seconds of horror as the Browns became the first team in 21 years since, the Browns in 2001 to blow a 2-touchdown lead in the final 2 minutes of the game. And then 2 days later, I get to see that glorious finish from Yankee Stadium. Balance. Just want it to be tie ball game. When we hit the ground and take the dirt nap, go see the big man upstairs, just want it to be tie ball game. If you know what you want to talk about, phone lines are open 256-576-4977. Jam show, though, today. I'm going to tell you that right now. You can also text the show, 732-9TA-SHOW. That might be a good option. 732-982-7469. It's a great way to communicate with us. My personal Twitter feed is at Thom Abraham Show. The station's feed is at 97.7 ESPN. You can watch the show on Facebook and Twitter. And you can also watch it on Twitch or YouTube at WZZN TV. Follow on Twitch, like and subscribe on YouTube, get those notifications. Find out all of this stuff at 977ESPN.com and get the links to that. And get our apps. Both the app for the Zone and the app for our sister station, The Blitz. There you can find links to Zone 2, Zone 3, Zone 4 as well at the Zone app, and you can just listen to the Braves game if you want a little bit later on. If you don't want to listen to my 11:20 guest, which you're going to want to listen to. Coming up on Friday night, Buckhorn hosts a really good Gunnersville team in a non-region game. I am out this week with the wedding, so Austin Coletti and Drew DeArmo will have that game on the air in our primary stream because Randolph is off. Madison Academy is on Zone 2 at Madison County. Madison County? At Madison County, with Steve Moulton and Glenn Laird on the call. And as always, the Woody Anderson Ford North Alabama Scoreboard Show with Scott Tyson will begin on the Blitz at 8:30 and then move to the air after the Buckhorn game. Look, you need to balance your fandom. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Balance your fandom. I've got the Browns, but I've got the Tide. I've got the Knicks, but I got the Yankees. And in the middle of those winners and losers, I've got the Bruins. Always good. Every once in a while a champ. Every once in a while playing in the Stanley Cup final, but always entertaining and good. Never suck. I feel sorry for people who never have a winner or a loser. You need to have winners in your life, but you need to balance that with losers in your life. Don't just be a front runner and just like teams that are always great. Those people in Boston, when they had that run, when the Red Sox, the Bruins, the Celtics, Patriots, when all four of their teams were winning, okay, that's fine. But they also had misery for a long time. Chicago sports fan has a lot of misery, but they had the Bulls to offset when, the Cubs were so bad, and the Cubs won one, and the White Sox won one. The Bears won one in 85. So they got these little windows of success. If you're an Atlanta sports fan, you die with the Falcons, but you got the Braves. The Braves are always good. Woo! But you got the Falcons. You know what I mean?
Pain. It was pain everywhere. So we got to keep on pushing through and being resilient.
Yeah. You got your 5 stripes. They're winners. And then you got your Hawks. And you got your hockey team. And you always lose your hockey team. You get a hockey team, you lose a hockey team. Balance. You need balance. Coming up in a few minutes, Carey's Corner with Josh Carey. We'll get his thoughts on that big baseball night. Then at the top of the 11, we'll head to Gainesville with Mark Long of the AP down there and get his take on the big game this week in Knoxville as the Gators go in as a 10-point dog in that one. They have dominated that series. For years, they have dominated that series. To the point where at one point, Urban Meyer wouldn't even call it a rivalry anymore. He's like, doesn't the other team have to win once in a while for it to be a rivalry? Florida has won the last 4. They've won 16 of the last 17. They are 16-8 against the Vols when both teams are ranked. The last time they played when both teams were ranked was 2017. Florida was like 24th, 26th. Florida was 26th in the country, and UT was like 20th in the country. Florida won 26-20. Something like that. That was the last time that happened. In the last 5 games, with both teams being ranked since 2005, Florida is 5-1 against Tennessee in those games. From 1990 to 2007, Florida and Tennessee met every year with all 18 matchups being ranked games. You remember that back in the day? Florida and Tennessee were ranked every year when they played from 1990 to 2007. Florida won those games. 12 wins and 6 losses. Florida has won 2 straight road games against Tennessee. They've won 7 of the last 8 in Knoxville. Remember last year? Florida had 505 yards in that game. Florida ran the ball for 283 yards last year. Remember that game? The last time Florida was in Tennessee, they won 31-19. Kyle Trask threw for 433 yards. So that's all of the history that the Vols are going against. The Vols have to overcome all of this history to get this done. Florida has had 300-plus yards of offense against Tennessee in 7 straight games and 12 of the last 13 games. Florida has scored 31 points in each of the last 4 games. They've scored at least 26 points in 7 in a row. They'll need to score in the 30s to win this game. At least to win this game, they'll need to score in the 30s. I believe that. Although Florida has held Tennessee to 21 points or less in 5 straight games. What are the chances that Florida holds Tennessee to 21 points or less in this one? Very, very slim. If you think that Florida can hold Tennessee under 21 points in this game, then you better take Florida plus the 10. If you think they can do that, then you want to definitely take Florida plus the 10. You might want to take Florida plus the 10. We'll have it at, I'm going to tell you right now, we'll have it at 9.5. It will be in the Beat the Big Dog, and it will be in the Friday Trifecta. Both of those are happening tomorrow, by the way. Tomorrow is Friday Trifecta Day, but you will continue to be able to make your Friday Trifecta picks on Friday with whoever the hell is sitting in on my show with Grizz. I don't even know if they know yet. Has anybody decided who's going to sit in with you, Grizz? I don't know. We're going to find out here in a minute. After Mark, David Moulton, who will be on that game as well for the SEC on CBS, will join us. David was in Philadelphia for the Eagles win with Jalen Hurts over Minnesota. We're watching Jalen Hurts become a full-blown quarterback right in front of our eyes. Huge ratings on Monday night for the 2 games. The NFL ratings are all up. CBS up. NBC up. Fox up. ESPN up. ABC up. Don't mess with our football. Don't even be sitting, the ratings are down. No, they are not. The ratings for the NFL across the board are up. Over there in that little glass room playing the platters that matter and the stacks of wax and answering the phones, keeping us on the air. Living large with a playoff team again in Atlanta. It's DJ Grizzly Grizzly.
Who in the blue hell are you? What is your name? It doesn't matter what your name is.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew. That Tom. Hey, Tom.
Testosterone high today. Testosterone, whatever the it is.
It really doesn't matter what you think. All right? It really doesn't matter what you say.
Any of you play sports?
Grizz, do you know what? Who's working with you?
Of course, you got Smokey Mike. I mean, I could get John. I mean,
well, not who you can get. I'm saying who.
I'm not going to get John.
You're not going to get John?
He's going to be at the wedding.
Oh, John will be gone. He'll be with us. Do you know? So you haven't set it up yet?
Bandy might be back by then.
Hey, Bandy could be back.
Who knows? It's a whole cast back here. We're going to be fine.
You're going to find somebody.
If it's Smokey and the Chad for 2 hours, I'll be okay with that.
It'll take a whole cast to fill in for me. Let me tell you that right now.
I mean, maybe we might throw in a little best of at the end. Who knows? With
it
you,
might take a villain. It'll take a.
We might need your voice at the end to carry us. You know,
you'll have Lee Sterling.
Yeah,
and you'll have AB in that second hour.
Yeah,
and you'll have guys wanting to pick the trifecta in the first hour.
Yeah,
and it's going to be a good trifecta. Should I put Alabama minus 40.5 against Vandy in that? I mean, we don't put cupcake games in there, but I'm trying to decide: do I put Alabama in there minus 40.5? I mean, I got to put the Auburn Missouri game in there. You know, so Auburn Missouri goes in there because that's a closer game, but that's like a fight on the short bus right now. I mean, you're talking about the two teams that are at the bottom of the heap in NCAA recruiting. So, I mean, they're right at the bottom.
No Clemson, Wake Forest, no Michigan, Maryland.
No.
No Florida, Tennessee?
No. Florida, Tennessee's in, yeah. Of course, Florida, Tennessee's in. Florida, Tennessee will be in.
Yeah.
Auburn, Missouri. Auburn minus 6.5,
Auburn,
7,
Missouri, not
like
Arkansas, Texas A&M?
Arkansas, Texas A&M. All right, we'll put that one in.
Yeah.
So there's your three. There's your three.
One.
Well, no, I gotta put Auburn, Missouri in. We have to know whether or not Auburn could. Yes, I gotta put. The question is, do I bother with Alabama minus 40.5? Because that would be my 4. Then I got no NFL game. Should I just go with those 4 college games? I gotta have Texas A&M and Arkansas in there, no doubt.
Wisconsin's playing Ohio State.
I know.
No, not that matchup.
There's enough in the SEC. I don't need to go to the inferior conferences.
It's Ohio State.
Missouri is getting 7.5.
Yeah.
At Auburn. So that'll be in there. I gotta have you gotta have Arkansas and Texas A&M. No, I'm not putting North Carolina and Notre Dame in there. Florida, oh my God, it's up to 10.5.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you 10. I said 9.5. I'm going to give you 10.5 with Florida. So it's Florida plus 10.5. I'm going to give you that. No, I'm not putting Texas and Texas Tech in there. I'm not doing inferior conferences. I'm not doing mid-major conference games. I'm only going to do the SEC. I'm looking for the line. What is? Oh, there it is. Arkansas gets 2.5 against Texas A&M at Jerry's World at Cowboy Stadium. That's definitely in there. So the question is, do I put Alabama minus 40.5 against Vandy, or do I put a NFL game in there? That's the question.
You got your Steelers and Browns tomorrow.
Yeah, but you can't do it on Friday. Be in a Friday trifecta. Yeah.
Steelers and Browns. Are they going to be the big dog?
Oh, they'll be in beat the big dog.
Okay. Well,
we got to have Steelers and Browns beat the big dog.
Let's see.
So Sunday, I just got to. We're like deciding.
No Cowboys, Giants, nah. Monday night.
That's salty.
Packers, Bucks.
That's really good. I think both of those are better than Alabama minus
Packers
40.5.
Yeah, yeah.
I think both of those are more
Cowboys and Giants.
Interesting games.
Eagles, Commanders.
No.
Carson Wentz.
No.
No. All right.
The Wentz Bowl. No.
He's been pretty good in fantasy.
Chiefs,
in our
Colts,
fantasy,
no.
anyways. 35 points a game.
Ravens, Patriots, no. Raiders and Titans, no.
Lions, Vikings.
You know what? There's good games there. There's a lot of
Lions
good games.
Might beat
I'm going to put an NFL game in there. All right, so that's the decision's been made. So the Alabama minus 40.5 against Vandy is out of the Friday trifecta. Out. You'd have to convince me otherwise. All right, lots to get to. You know, Greeny went on a pretty impassioned rant.
Of course,
right
it's
there.
New York.
He went on an impassioned rant, and it's a legit rant. He's not a Yankee fan.
Yeah.
But he went on a legit rant there because, Aaron Judge joins Babe Ruth and Roger Maris as the only American leaguers to ever hit 60 home runs. 60 is the holy grail. The National League has 3. Bonds, cheater. McGwire, cheater. Sosa, cheater. And it's like, he's right. How do you talk about this without a straight face? How do you sit there and say, well, Babe Ruth, Roger Maris, Aaron Judge, Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa. I mean, they're in a different. They're cheaters. They were cheaters in an era of cheating. It was not like this baseball. And again, I say it. The reason this is the greatest home run hitting season in the history of ever is there's nobody winning 20 of him. 20. No one within 20. Have you seen the video of number 60?
Yeah, I watched it. I've seen it. Yeah.
You see how easy his swing is?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like a cannon. He hit it 430 feet. That wasn't like, oh, that's Yankee Stadium. He hit it 430 feet, and he swung it like that would be like a fly ball, can of corn. And remember, the ball is dead now. The ball is dead.
Yeah.
The home runs are way down. Ball is dead. And he just swings so easy and hits it right on the screws and just gently hoists it 430. It would have been out of every park in America, including Yellowstone. Yeah. Holy crap. All right. Josh Carey, get his take next. Carey's Corner. Do some hardball with him. And we're doing some Florida, Tennessee with Mark Long. And then we're doing everything with David Moulton. Sit back and enjoy. Or use the text window if you like. It's the Tom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Tom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now, and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you, so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
AVIQ. Who is AVIQ? AVIQ is audiovisual the intelligent way, where we put our IQ to work for your AV needs. With more than 100 years combined experience in audio, video, and automation, our team of experts is dedicated to one thing: helping you discover technological solutions that make your home special. Once you experience a game or a movie on one of our state-of-the-art home theater systems, you may never leave the house again. AVIQ can build the entire system for you or provide the quality components if you're a do-it-yourselfer. But AVIQ is more than just home theater and state-of-the-art sound systems. We offer a variety of control options for home technology. Energy efficiency, heightened security, and improved quality of life are all attainable through the automation of home systems. Intuitive and user-friendly control is our main priority in designing a system that meets your needs. Don't just take our word for it. You need to see it to believe it. Come visit us at our state-of-the-art showroom on University, just east of Jim and Nick's, across from AT&T, or visit aviqhsv.com.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time, or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics.
AdvancedLifeClinic.com. At Bryant Bank, we believe your goals are worth chasing, and every step along the way is worth celebrating. From your hopes for the future to the challenges that keep you up at night, we're here for you. Bryant bankers put care into action to help you live legendary by stepping up when you need us most and doing what's right even when no one is watching. Come experience a local bank whose people greet you by name and treat you like family. Bryant Bank, member FDIC.
As the Atlanta Braves battle for another postseason run.
Throw comes in, and he got him! Oh, my goodness, what a throw!
It's also the start of football season. We've got you covered right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
We're talking baseball. Klazuski, Campanella, talking baseball. The man and Bobby Fella, the Scooter, the Barber, and the Nuke. They knew them all from Boston to Dubuque, especially Willie, Mickey, and the Duke.
I never really thought about the fact that Lazuski and Pinella are in that song. Lazuski and Pinella, that seems pretty recent to me, Lazuski and Pinella. You know, I always think about, when he's talking about the older guys from the early 60s. Welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. The segment of the show brought to you by North Alabama Mortgage. For all your mortgage needs, it's North Alabama Mortgage. Don't forget to get pre-approved with North Alabama Mortgage before you look at, making that offer on that new place, because your offer becomes a lot more attractive when you are pre-approved. Pre-approved means you're ready to close. Boom. You make your offer, you're pre-approved, you can close, you're all set. Okay. Pre-qualified, you still got to go through the approval process. And so we want to be pre-approved. Also, don't forget about refinance. Refinance is a big thing as well. And you can lock in a rate right now and pull some of that added value that you've picked up in your property. I just had some appraisals done, just for the heck of it, on my properties, and I was kind of pleasantly surprised, to be quite honest with you. So there is money in your property. If you want to do a refi, this is a good time to do that. And thanks to Brian Hammaker and his whole team over there. They always do a great job supporting whatever is going on. They support the Army, football on the Blitz and on the Zone. They support Madison Academy football. Whatever it is that any charitable, anything we ever do charitable. Anything. We were involved with the fishing tournament last year. I just gave Brian Hammaker a call, and he said, just tell me where to send a check. Boom. Made a donation directly to the charity for Children's Hospital. All right. Joining us now for a little Carey's Corner action from the Broadcasting Carries. It's Josh Carey. He's on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Josh, welcome back. How are you?
Oh, dude, I'm doing great, especially from this time 24 hours ago. Got a win on the road last night. Now we go for the clincher tomorrow.
Yeah, 9-5 last night up there. A lot of hits in that game, but the Trash Pandas get the win, and now tomorrow night can close it out. If not tomorrow night, Friday night, and everything leading towards the potentiality of a Southern League Championship Series, which would be next week, right?
That's right. First things first, got to get a win, and then once you do that, it'll be on the road, either Pensacola or Montgomery on Sunday, and then back here next Tuesday and, if necessary, Wednesday to try and win a championship. So still a lot of work to do. Still got to get 3 more wins, but the guys took a big step last night.
There's been a lot of talk. I know people around the league are going, well, the Angels are really trying to win a championship in their minor league system. And there's certain truth to that. They've left this Trash Panda lineup relatively unscathed. But having said that, with the new deal where you only call up a couple of guys anyway, most of these teams are pretty stocked, right? I mean, they pretty much have their players. It's not like Rocket City is the only team that has, pretty much the lineup that they have.
No. When you look at Tennessee, for example, their pitching's not very good, but they can flat out hit the ball. I mean, they gave Rocket City a challenge last night, and they can outscore anyone in the league. And they've got about 3 or 4 guys on there who I think can play in the majors. You look at Pensacola, they really took a bit of a hit. They called up a lot of their guys after the first half of the season. They're probably the weakest team of the 4, but they can still pitch some. But then Montgomery, I mean, they're part of the Rays system, and the Rays, frankly, have the best farm system in baseball. And top to bottom, when it comes to hitting, pitching, bullpen, you name it, they're about as loaded as anyone else. In fact, they added guys to their roster at the All-Star break. They were in a very good team midway through, and then they really picked it up in the second half. But I would say they also have a handful of guys who could be playing Major League Baseball one day. So, yeah, all these teams, you get to this point, you may as well win something, right? I mean, if you're not going to win a World Series, you want to show your fan base that, hey, we got a lot of good stuff going on in our farm system, and the Angels are proof of that, as are the Cubs, the Marlins, and the Rays as well.
Can we get Levon Soto back just for next week for a couple of games? I mean, just come on. I mean, he went up. This is really amazing. You're talking about over 2 years, 16th former Trash Panda, all ready to play for the Los Angeles Angels. He is the 6th this year. I'm racking my brain. I can't think of, and I've been around, a lot of AA baseball, minor league baseball, throughout my career, whether I was in Rochester or Nashville or here, Montgomery, when my show was in Montgomery, down in Florida. I can't think of many AA teams that sent 6 guys in one season to the big leagues. I mean, yes, going up to the AAA, but to the big leagues, that's a lot of AA guys making the jump straight to the big leagues.
Yeah, and what it tells you is that the Angels are a little thin. I mean, that's the biggest thing it tells you. I mean, they just need guys who can help fill in holes, and right now the team is not doing that great. So the offshoot of that is, if you're a minor leaguer for an organization that's struggling, you have a better chance of getting an opportunity, because you don't necessarily want to trade for anyone while the season's winding down. But at the same time, you want to still be competitive and give some of your farm guys a chance just in case they have something to offer. And so that's what all those pitchers took advantage of last year. And you're seeing it toward the end of this year as well. And, for a guy like Levon, I mean, he's about as deserving as anyone. You could make an argument of him as being the team MVP I'm not surprised at all that he's up there, and I think he's going to be up there for a while.
So people can get tickets for tomorrow night. We might have a big crowd for tomorrow night. What was the deal, the way it worked with tickets? Were playoff tickets included in the season ticket packages, or is it going to be, we're looking for a big walk-up crowd tomorrow, or you get good seats for this thing tomorrow? Because Friday night, you're going to fight Friday Night Football all over town. So now you're fighting that. So we'll finish this thing off with a big crowd tomorrow night and then get them back in here for Tuesday and Wednesday if necessary next week. But how does it work as far as, buying tickets for this or even buying tickets for next Tuesday on the IFCOM?
So any game that doesn't get played, and you've bought tickets for it, you can either get a full refund or you can use it as credit for next season, with the exception of a few games. For those tomorrow night, we really need a big walk-up. Tennessee had 5,000 people at their ball game on Tuesday.
Wow.
Which really surprised me, and I was really impressed with that. If they're drawing 5,000, we need to be around that number. And I know it's Thursday, and I know people have other things to do, but good grief. It's our first ever playoff game at home in franchise history. So tickets are going to be the same price as they are for the regular season. Plenty of them are still available. Come on by, get some, and let's put on a good show for these guys and make sure that it's a tough place to play for Tennessee.
And you might be able to get tickets that, I would think that maybe weren't available during the regular season because people had those as season tickets and so on. So you might actually even get some better tickets than what you got. And look, it's not that far up there to Knoxville. There'll be a few fans down here. They're going to make that run. They'll come down, kind of thinking that it could be a Thursday, Friday thing. I bet that there'll be some fans, some Smoky fans in the house. So we got to make sure that we pack it out and make it look great for what we're doing now. And you can buy. Are tickets on sale for Tuesday, just in case?
Yeah, everything is on sale right now.
Okay.
We actually still have some suites available if people want to purchase those. And again, you can go ahead and make that commitment. And any game that's not paid, we're going to refund. That's not played, we'll refund you. So don't worry. This is a deal where all you can do is win if you're a fan, because you're either going to see baseball or you're going to get money back for the baseball you don't see. So come on down. We'll give our folks a call, 256-325-1403. We'll tell you what's available right now. And then just go from there, and we'll play it by ear. And hopefully the Trash Pandas don't have to play too many home games, but do just enough to get a championship.
Do you know if tickets are still available for the UNA Jacksonville State game on October 15th?
Yes, they are. I don't know how many at this time, because I know we allotted some of them to, of course, to UNA and Jack State, but there are still tickets available. We're actually going to have, I think, 10,000 seats available for that ball game, or that's the capacity of the stadium for football. So, it'll be more than just a typical baseball game. You'll get to have a few extra thousand fans in there, and hopefully the Bama and Auburn kick times are going to be any time other than prime time, because we'd like to get a good crowd for that.
This Donut 5K challenge on Saturday, is this something where we're going to eat 5,000 donuts, or are we actually running something? Because if it's eating 5,000 donuts, I might have a shot at that challenge.
I don't know what the donut part is. It is a 5K. We do this every September, and we do it every April as well, where we have a 5K and folks can participate in that. Frankly, I've been so out of the loop because of travel and everything. I'm not sure.
Krispy Kreme donuts. They're going to have Krispy Kreme donuts. They got Krispy Kreme donuts. I don't know what that means.
Maybe that's what they get once the race is over. I don't know.
Is the I'm sorry. Is the 5K up that giant hill?
No, we try to avoid the hill. But,
that's miserable.
But we keep it around town Madison. That's a good question. Yeah, what we do. Lindsay Knupp, our executive marketing director, I call her Forrest Gump, because she lives in Alabama and all she does is run. And so she runs everywhere, and she knows the little nooks and crevices throughout town Madison to make it into a 5K. So she's the one who's mapped that out. But I know we're going to avoid that hill, because that's just that's a problem waiting to happen.
Participants will start inside Toyota Field, then run, jog, or walk to the designated donut pickup spot inside beautiful town Madison. Participants will then consume 3 donuts provided by Krispy Kreme before making their way back to the start-finish line inside Toyota Field. Medals will be awarded to the top 3 male and top 3 female finishers who complete the challenge by consuming their donuts and crossing the finish line. It's an oxymoron because not a lot of people that are like runner type people that go into 5K running, they might not eat a lot of Krispy Kreme donuts. So you got to kind of figure out a way to choke down 3 Krispy Kremes. I could be like a designated donut eater. Like they'd run there, tag me in. I would eat the 3 donuts and then they would run back to the stadium.
I think the whole purpose we're trying to do is we're trying to leave a trail of Krispy Kreme behind, and I'm not going to tell you how it's going to come on out, but those people running as hard as they can on the way back to the finish line, it might get a little ugly.
Yeah, no, absolutely. All right, Josh Carey with us here. A lot of people saw the story about the minor leaguers getting unionized by the Major League Players Association, and it seemed like the MLB was okay with this. People are wondering, how does that affect like the Trash Pandas? And I don't think they understand that the players are all under contract to the team, the Angels. The Angels are the ones that provide the players. The Trash Pandas run the stadium and run the games and all of that. But what, if any, impact will we see as fans with this unionization, as far as you could tell, of the minor leaguers?
You know, that's a great question. And what's so hard about it, Tom, is this is the first time I've ever seen something like this. Only because when you look at minor league baseball, for so many years, the minor leaguers and the major leaguers were different entities, right? I never foresaw Major League Baseball absorbing the minor leaguers and making them a part of their union. And that makes it very interesting because, for those who don't know, the Major League Baseball Players Association is one of the best unions in the country. And where it gets interesting and where I'm not sure is that 5 years from now, if the Major League Baseball is in another lockout or a strike or whatever that deal is, how does that impact the minor league ball players? I got to think there would still be some sort of delineation between guys on the 40-man roster and those who are not on the 40-man roster. Like guys who are on the 40-man roster get certain benefits, those who aren't don't. But what they want to do at the end of the day is they want to try to maximize the financial potential for these guys, for these minor league ball players. And where it's going to get strange, I think, is how do you put value on a ball player who candidly is not really a major league prospect? He's a non-drafted free agent and doesn't have a lot of potential, believed, to make a Major League Baseball team. What's the value on someone like that? And this is really uncharted territory because baseball has never done something like this. And so I'm going to be very fascinated to see how that unfolds. This was announced about a month ago, and it just came into fruition over the last week or so. I'm going to be really interested to see what happens in the next year or two to see how that entire thing unfolds and how exactly being unionized with MLBPA impacts these minor league ball players. It's going to be fascinating.
It's good for them, though. You know what I mean? I think that part of it is a good thing that help with their conditions and so on. And look, that's on Major League Baseball's dime, and they can afford to do something with that. All right, finally, we saw big number 60 last night out of Aaron Judge. 3 American leaguers now have hit 60 or more home runs. Of course, Babe Ruth and Roger Maris, and now Aaron Judge. 3 have done it in the National League. Cheater. Bonds, McGuire, Sosa. Impassioned plea from Mike Greenberg on his show on ESPN just before I went on the air, saying that, look, why we can't stick our head in the sand. We have to mention it. We have to figure out a way to delineate it because it was so obvious now that the numbers came down so dramatically. We have to say it. You can't not say it. You can't just say with a straight face, he now joins Bonds, McGuire, and Sosa. I mean, we got to say something, right? What's your take on that and how we treat those 3 National Leaguers who cheated their way to 60-plus home runs?
Well, the home runs still counted, right? And they still impacted ball games, and they still helped one team win and the other team lose. So, yeah, you got to say something. And and I've always said this when it comes to that era of baseball. If you think Bonds, McGuire, and Sosa were the only ones who were juicing at the time, you're out of your mind. So to call them cheater, yeah, I get it, but a lot of guys were cheating. And that was kind of what you had to do in order to remain relevant in the game of baseball, as sad as that is to say. So, yeah, you mentioned them, and you can bring up that what they did was illegal. But at the end of the day, the home runs still count. and you still have to get around on it, and you still got to put good wood on it and punch it over the wall. So I don't know if it's strange because I don't think it's as big of a deal to the younger generation as it is to a lot of those older writers who are just too stodgy to put those three guys I just mentioned into the Hall of Fame. They see it differently from what my generation sees. And my generation sees a group of guys who they might not have been the best people in the world, but they played the game as it was in the 1990s. And you know what? If that's the way it was back then, I don't know how you cannot mention them and give them credit where credit's due.
I don't know.
I'm
having a hard time with it. I mean, a lot of guys, it just the numbers dropped off so dramatically after it happened. And I know that some pitchers were doing it too, but it was obvious that it was a different baseball. It was a different kind of, it was a different, I don't mean the physical ball itself. It was a different brand of baseball. And I just hate lumping those guys in with the guys that did it presumably clean. I mean, we don't know anything about anything, I guess, ultimately. But, when you're talking about Babe and Roger Maris and Aaron Judge, and we went so many years since the steroid era that nobody hit anywhere near 60. So it kind of, it justified the fact that what we knew was going on was going on. And
but at the same time, the ball was flying out of the ballpark all over the place. You didn't have 60 home run guys, but you had a ton of 40, 45 home run guys.
We did have that, and then they killed the ball. That's what's amazing about this year. They killed the ball, and this dude's got even when Roger Maris hit 61, Mickey Mantle hit 54. When Babe Ruth hit 60, Lou Gehrig had 47. So there was a 13 home run difference. This guy's going to win the home run title by 20 or 25 home runs. And Kyle Schwarber just hit his 40th home run or 39th home run. The difference is so massive. That's what makes this an incredible thing that we're seeing.
Well, and keep something else in mind, too, Tom. You remember the old Tom Glavine, Greg Maddux commercial, Chicks Dig Long Ball? Well, guess what? Major League Baseball took back the heart. Back in the 90s and the 2000s, it was about the long ball, and they made the game more hitter-friendly and more home run-friendly, to be specific. And so did the steroids help that? Yeah, I'm sure they did. But baseball kind of helped it along as well. And I'm also pretty certain that baseball kept their head in the sand when it came to the steroid issue. Like they knew it was going on, but if you hear it, don't say anything, et cetera, et cetera. Hear no evil, speak no evil, all that stuff. So who came first, the chicken or the egg? I don't know if you can really say what was the biggest cause for that uptick in home runs. Was it the steroids? Was it the juice ball, whatever you want to call it? I don't know who you can blame more. And because of that, I don't know if you can penalize the players as much as a lot of people want to, because that's what baseball wanted.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. In fact, I vehemently disagreed with them putting Bud Selig in the Hall of Fame because of it. Because of not only the steroid era, everything that he presided over. I thought it was ridiculous to put that guy in the Hall of Fame, but that's just the way you knew they were going to do it. All right, always a pleasure. Yeah, Josh Carey tomorrow night. Close that sucker out tomorrow night, so we're not distracted by all the high school football on Friday night, and then we'll look forward to next Tuesday when they come back after Game 1 of the Southern League Championship.
Get out to the ballpark, fans. 256-325-1403. Give our folks a call, and we'll point you in the right direction about getting in the stadium tomorrow.
Weather is going to be spectacular. I mean, they're talking about high 70s, low 80s. It's going to be low humidity. It's going to be spectacular for that game. And then you could see a series win tomorrow night. All right, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Let's get a break in here. When we return, we will set you up for hour number 2 on the Tom Abraham Show. Hump Day in the Doghouse, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Tom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Your favorite sports book, BetUS.com, is back for their 28th year of NFL action. With the industry's biggest sign-up bonus of up to 200%, BetUS offers their members the opportunity to cash in on all your favorite leagues, including college football and the NFL. They've also got hundreds of new casino games, including the coolest European slots, and their live dealers are waiting for you at the tables. Sign up at BetUS.com and use the promo code WZZN. That's BetUS.com and the promo code WZZN.
Here's something to get your tailgating in gear this football season. Brooks & Collier have the perfect selection of outdoor furniture for your dream backyard and the biggest selection of grills from Big Green Egg, Traeger, Blaze, Memphis, and Montalpi. Football season is grilling season. Lucy and Ivy, they're just waiting on something to fall off the grill. And remember, you could qualify for 12 months deferred interest with Synchrony Bank. Brooks & Collier, 813 Meridian Street and at brooksandcollier.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Here's something to get your tailgating in gear this football season. Brooks & Collier have the perfect selection of outdoor furniture for your dream backyard and the biggest selection of grills from Big Green Egg, Traeger, Blaze, Memphis, and Montalpi. Football season is grilling season. Lucy and Ivy, they're just waiting on something to fall off the grill. And remember, you could qualify for 12 months deferred interest with Synchrony Bank. Brooks & Collier, 813 Meridian Street and at brooksandcollier.com.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, "If you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself."
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
Organizations using Salesforce know how powerful the platform is and how much time, money, and headaches it saves if it's set up right and you know how to use it. Let's face it, Salesforce is complicated and time-consuming to figure out, and a lot can go wrong now and down the road without expert help. That's why most Salesforce users work with an implementation partner like Higher Echelon, so they get the absolute most out of their Salesforce investment. Higher Echelon is a 5-star Salesforce consulting partner who won Salesforce Military Hiring Partner of the Year. President Dr. Joe Ross is retired Army who played and later coached for the cadets. He puts that experience to good use at Higher Echelon, where they pride themselves on hiring veterans. Look, not all Salesforce partners are the same. Don't put your company at risk by going with an inferior partner. Higher Echelon is the trusted partner you can count on to get you up and running and seeing returns on your Salesforce investment in a fraction of the time it would take if you go it alone. Go to higherechelon.com. That's HIGHERECHELON.com to learn more. Go higher and go Army. Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Do you know that your car or truck or SUV may be worth up to 30 or 40% more than it was last year? It's true. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and now is the perfect time to trade in and trade up to a gold certified or blue certified pre-owned car, truck, SUV, or crossover. While our new vehicle inventory continues to build back, our Ford Blue Advantage certified pre-owned vehicles are nearing 100 models to choose from, and a good variety too. Woody Anderson Ford Gold certified vehicles are 6 years or younger with less than 80,000 miles and have passed 172-point inspection by factory certified technicians. They have a 14-day, 1,000-mile money-back guarantee, a great comprehensive limited warranty, 24-hour roadside assistance, and go home with full tank of gas and a fresh oil change. Get nearly a new ride and none of the worries. Woody Anderson Ford, Jordan at Sparkman. Hope to see you soon.
The best local sports talk with the best in college football. A perfect combination. Hi, this is Chris Stewart. Listen to Alabama football all season long on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Segment of Tom Abraham Show brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford. Their service department is second to none at Woody Anderson Ford. They do a tremendous job for you, whether you got a Ford or not. Check out the service lanes, man. When you see the way they take care of them, you know they're going to take care of your vehicle. It's Woody Anderson Ford. All right, Grizz, the guy who caught the ball, the 60th home run from Aaron Judge, he gave it back to Aaron Judge. They say the ball is worth between $100,000 and $150,000. He gave it back to Aaron Judge, and he gave it to him in return for a signed bat, some other signed balls from Aaron Judge.
That's what's up.
Yeah, and he got a picture with Aaron Judge. He's 20-year-old kid. All right, 20-year-old kid. Got a solo picture with Aaron Judge, and then a picture with Aaron Judge and the other guys, all of us in the clubhouse. Got a picture with his friends, and he and Aaron Judge, a bat signed by Aaron Judge, some balls, and so on. Do you give back ball number 60 worth $100,000 to $150,000?
Probably not. I'm kind of one of those guys that might keep it and might sell it long time down the road, see if it accrues in value. But I think honestly, if I had all that other stuff, I think eventually that stuff over time would just cost more, would just gain more money, and so I think I'd end up selling all that stuff that I get out of it.
Ball
so yeah, I'd probably end up giving it
61.
up. Sure, yeah.
Ball 61 is worth $200,000 to $250,000, and the 62nd home run ball could be worth well over $500,000. I guess It depends on how much you are a fan of, whether you believe that the ball belongs at the Hall of Fame and how much of a fan of the Yankees and Aaron Judge, and if you would rather have that moment with him or $500,000. Said Aaron Judge, you want the ball back? Tell you what, I'll give it to you for a discount. $300,000 right now.
You can afford it.
Mark Long is up next from the AP in Gainesville, talking Florida and the Vols on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Listen up, sports fans. Your favorite sportsbook, BetUS.com, is back for a 28th year of NFL action. With the industry's biggest sign-up bonus of up to 200%, BetUS offers our members the opportunity to cash in on all your favorite sports, including NFL, NBA, MLB, and more. We've also got hundreds of new casino games, including the coolest new European slots, and our live dealers are waiting for you at the tables. Sign up at BetUS.com or call 1-800-99-BET-US and get into the action. BetUS, where the game begins.
To the Atlanta Braves. We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Thom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com. PrecisionOverheadGarageDoorBridge.com.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Another hot and sunny afternoon across North Alabama, southern and middle Tennessee. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 90s. Temperatures only drop into the low and mid 70s as we head into the overnight. A mostly sunny sky for your Thursday afternoon. Maybe a slight increase in cloud cover through the heart of the afternoon, early into the evening. But it doesn't look like we're going to see any rain. That increase in cloud cover is going to come with a cold front that's going to move through the Tennessee Valley. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Listen to Madison Academy football all season long.
And it is covered up by the Mustangs in the end zone. Touchdown Madison Academy. Touchdown Madison Academy.
On 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live. Here he is, the big dog.
Let's go, baby!
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like El McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Thom Abraham Show. This segment is brought to you by BetUS.com. Back with their 28th year of NFL action. They have the industry's biggest sign-up bonus of up to 200%. You are locked in now on your game, so maybe you want to jump on with BetUS.com, have a little bit of fun with it. You have an opportunity to cash in on all of your favorite sports, the baseball, get in on the college football and the NFL. Hockey is right around the corner as well. It's all at BetUS.com. Use the promo code WZZN. That's promo code WZZN, and you'll get the best deal possible. You don't have to put it in, like, say it like that. Just WZZN would be fine. It's just some reason every time I say it, WZZN, I have to say it that way. I don't know why. I don't understand that. All right, joining us now, a guy that does a tremendous job covering really everything in North Florida. I always talk to him about the Gators, but certainly he also covers the Jacksonville Jaguars, who once again beat the snot out of the Indianapolis Colts, and I don't really quite understand what it is about that, but they're able to do that, it seems, when the Colts go down there. But he's Mark Long from the AP, and he's on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Mark, welcome back to the show. How are you?
Hey, Tom. Doing well. How are you?
I'm fantastic. What is it about, when the Jags see the Colts come to town? I mean, am I missing something? Did they not beat them last year to keep them out of the playoffs? And, I mean, they look like world beaters every time they play the Colts. But this looks like it might have some staying power the way they played in that game.
Yeah, it was something impressive for sure. And I think if you talk to people inside the building, they think that it was a little bit of a turning point, that this is Jacksonville and they're a better team top to bottom than the Colts. They might not have as big a star player or a couple of players as the Colts, but they're better across the board.
Well, certainly with the Titans losing their first 2 games and having the Raiders in town next, and nobody else in the division has a win other than the Jags. So it's certainly a nice way to get started on the season. Is there actual excitement about this in Jacksonville?
There is. They're excited, but the problem is now they're headed west to face the Chargers, and everybody knows the Chargers are pretty potent. And, the Jacksonville's 3-15 all time on the West Coast. So not exactly the ideal scenario to follow up a big win with another one. But, this is the one. This is the next 2 games. They're on the road at the Chargers and then at the Eagles, another, hot starting team. If they can win one of those 2, I mean, if they won both of them, they'd be the talk of the league. But if they could even win one of those 2, I think people would all of a sudden buy in that, hey, this is a new era and a different era, and maybe even a new start for what's been a morbid franchise for a decade or more.
And then they can stop going over to Europe to play a game every year. I mean, you get out of that. You know what I mean? Somehow get out of that deal because the fans are going to want all their home games, at home.
Sure.
Makes sense to me. I mean, I would think. All right, let's talk about the Florida Gators and the Tennessee Volunteers. I don't know. I know that in the last, I guess I got to Nashville in 2007, so that's a long time ago, 15 years, something like that. And never, ever were the Vols a 10-point favorite in that period of time. How far back do you think we have to go to find the last time you could get 10 points with the Florida Gators against the Tennessee Vols in either building?
Yeah, well, maybe in Gainesville, but certainly, in Gainesville and maybe in the Urban Meyer era, maybe. But certainly you've got to go back to probably pre-Steve Spurrier, right, to even think that you'd have a game like that or a matchup like that.
Tennessee would be that big of a favorite. Yeah, I mean, you'd have to go back. Maybe during his Zook years. I mean, is there any time during his Zook years that maybe Tennessee was a 10-point favorite over Florida? I mean, I don't think so.
I doubt it. I mean, even then, those Zook teams had talent, and they were occasionally ranked. They would just lose a game that they weren't supposed to lose every year.
Yeah, that's a good point. Now, Florida has held Tennessee 21 points or less, I think, in the last 4 matchups that they have played. If they do that, they got an excellent chance to win the football game. Forget the 10 points. They're going to win the football game because I think Florida will be able to move the ball again on the ground. They ran for 1,000,000 yards against them last year, and I don't think that the defense has gotten that much better at Tennessee. I don't know how the heck they keep them in the 20s, though. That's the thing. I mean, this Vol offense looks amazing. Tell me about the Gators' defense and their ability to slow down Tennessee.
Yeah, super suspect defense, especially when they're playing without Ventrell Miller, their fifth-year starting linebacker. I mean, he's kind of the heart and soul of their defense, and he's down. He's got an ankle injury that's going to keep him out, a foot injury, going to keep him out for another few more weeks. So, they struggled last week against USF. They've got some guys in there, some highly touted guys, but they're young. They got a freshman, Shamar James. They got another one, Scooby Williams, playing inside, and they got Amari Burney, who's an undersized linebacker, playing in there. And those guys are just getting run on. They're just getting torched. So I can't imagine that all of a sudden they're going to fix that from between week 3 and week 4 and all of a sudden become some stout run defense. It's not going to happen. So they're suspect there. They're okay on the back end. They're better in the secondary than they are up front. And they've got some talent up front on the D-line, but they don't have a lot of depth there. It is probably their thinnest spot on the entire team. I mean, Brenton Cox is a stud. They got the big guy, 440-pounder in there. His name is Desmond Watson.
Yeah.
Big dude.
21? Yeah, number 21.
Yeah, 21.
21. It looks like he could say 211 on his jersey. It looked like he puts a hell of a strain on that jersey. I mean, that thing looks like, it looks like it's a schmedium, on him, but it's probably a 3XL and he's still killing it.
And, and so they've got some guys up front, but just not a ton of Javon Dexter's another one, but they just don't have a lot of depth. And the depth behind them is young, really, really young. So, it makes for a pretty bad recipe, especially if you can't get off the field. All of a sudden, your frontline guys get worn down. You're forced to substitute, and you're going to guys who don't have a chance. And that's what happened the last 2 weeks against Kentucky and even the second half against Utah. Utah got it rolling pretty good on the ground. So the last 3 weeks, USF, Kentucky, and Utah, they've been gashed pretty good on the ground. I don't see that changing. And then now all of a sudden you take a Tennessee team that's got the talent it does at receiver, and it looks like it's, pretty doggone good dynamic with Hyatt and Tillman there. I just don't know how the Gators are going to be able to stop this fast-paced attack that's going to wear on their depth and then the talent of, being able to be so versatile and running and throwing the ball. I just don't know that the Gators have a chance here. I'd be hard-pressed to make an argument how Florida wins this game.
Are they really a top 25 team? I mean, they get that win over Utah, which pushed them up there. The AP has them at 20, and the coaches at 22. But really, I mean, are they a team that really should even be in the top 25?
No, and they got overranked after the Utah win. Obviously, that was a big win. Utah, number 7 Utah, Pac-12 champs, defending Pac-12 champs. So I get all of that, but Florida voters went way too high, vaulting Florida up to number 12, and it really probably didn't do this young team any services. Probably did them more of a disservice because it is a young team, and all of a sudden you're now ranked number 12. You didn't really have to build or earn it, or really, you got there after one game. It's kind of ridiculous. And all of a sudden, they probably spent the week getting patted on the back and told how good they were. And then they come crashing down to earth against Kentucky. But the reality is, Tom, they're a couple plays away from being 0-3 or 3-0 because they easily could have beaten Kentucky, and would have if Anthony Richardson doesn't throw two just, ridiculous interceptions. One of them returned for a touchdown, and the other one set up, I think, a 3 or 4 play drive for a touchdown from about 5 yards out. So, those two really cost him in a 10-point game, and then he throws 2 more against USF and darn near lost that game because of his interception. So, they are, as we can sit here and pick it apart, but, they're a couple plays away from being 3-0 or 0-3.
And that wasn't a great South Florida team, is it? I mean, should South Florida have been in that game like that all day long, or is this, did they turn it back on? It's not the Jim Leavitt South Florida years.
No, this is a South Florida team that had, I think, lost 19 of 22 games, 19 of 23 games. There were 4-19 coming in under Jeff Scott, third-year head coach. And again, those third-year head coaches, those are guys who took over in COVID, so they kind of got screwed that first year. Really kind of more like second-year coaches to some degree. But still, that's a team that had not shown anything, previously, and all of a sudden to come in there and go toe-to-toe with Florida was a complete eye-opener and more of a testament, I think, about what Florida is as opposed to what USF is.
What are we thinking about Anthony Richardson? You mentioned him earlier, but I mean, they were talking about him, Cam Newton. They said he's Cam Newton-like, and now he looks more like TJ Finley, than Cam Newton. But what is the story there with Anthony Richardson?
Florida fans forget Cam Newton. They would settle for Cam Rising at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been bad, and it doesn't look right. I don't know what it is, whether it's in his head, whether he's feeling some injury that they're not, confessing. I don't know, but he's all of a sudden not running the ball, not really trying to run the ball, and his completion percentage is way down. Can't find the end zone, throwing the ball right to defenders. There's just all kinds of issues. Throwing the ball late, not checking to the right guy, all kinds of issues on the interception that really cost Florida against USF. They call a running play, send it in, and he checks to a throw and then throws it right to the defender in the end zone, and it gets picked and almost returned for a touchdown. So, those are the kind of head-scratching throws the last 2 weeks that, have everybody up in arms and wondering, was Dan Mullen really right about this kid last year? And, what is the real issue here and why he can't seem to figure it out?
It feels like that Mullen left the cupboard bare. That was a big part of the issue. They weren't in the top 5, great recruiting classes and so on under Dan Mullen. It's the same thing that Brian Harsin going through at Auburn. But how is Harsin doing? I mean, how is he acclimating to the or Billy Napier? How is Billy Napier doing? How's he acclimating to the high schools down there? And is he starting to make some headway, from a recruiting standpoint? Because you got to have the guys. Eventually, you got to have the horses.
Yeah, and that's kind of the positive. The one positive is that everybody was ripping Billy Napier, in February, March, because he wasn't hitting on, or maybe even go back to December, January. He wasn't hitting on a lot of guys, and they were getting beat on a lot of guys. Well, he's turned a corner since probably June, July. They've really now flipped it, and they're hitting on a lot of guys, and they've got a lot of 4-star kids headed to Gainesville this next class. Now, again, they start losing, and those guys can open up their recruitment, and you know how that rolls. All of a sudden, a class that looks like it's a top 10 class can fall pretty quickly. But right now, it's looking like it's right at that, I think, 9, 10, 11, right in there is where they're ranked. So that's big for him, and that's where it all starts. I mean, Billy Napier privately has never once told anybody other than they've got a lot of holes on this team, offensively and defense. That's what he's telling people. That's kind of the narrative that's out there. Is they knew coming in this was a rebuilding situation, a rebuilding year. They didn't have the playmakers around Anthony Richardson. They didn't have the depth on the defensive side of the ball. They do have some players, but they just don't have the depth to get it done or to overcome some key injuries. So that's where they're at. And, you're going to see that recruiting class is where it's all at, and he better get it in, probably around the 10 spot or even higher if they're going to have a chance down the road.
Always a pleasure. It's going to be a very interesting football game, but it's always a pleasure to talk to Mark Long from the AP in North Florida. Mark, I appreciate you so much, and thanks for coming on and helping us break this game down.
No problem, Tom. Thanks.
All right, thank you. All right, we're going to break in here. When we come back, a guy that'll be working in the booth for the game is David Moulton for the SEC on CBS. He'll be spotting there for Gary Danielson. He was also side by each with Troy Aikman in Philadelphia as the Eagles got that great win against Minnesota under a tremendous effort by Jalen Hurts. He's coming up next right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Something you probably do know. Progressive can not only offer you a great price when you bundle home and auto, they offer you round-the-clock protection. Something you probably don't know, the average garage door is made up of 1.3 millimeter aluminum panels. Something you probably do know, your neighbor likes to tinker with his dirt bike. Something you probably don't know, a runaway dirt bike can take out your garage door and a good portion of your car bumper. Bundle your home and auto with Progressive and get more than a great price. Get round-the-clock protection. Something you know for the things you don't know. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers and subject to policy terms. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list, and maybe a little scary. But it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhsriserealestate.com.
Your favorite sports book, BetUS.com, is back for their 28th year of NFL action. With the industry's biggest sign-up bonus of up to 200%, BetUS offers their members the opportunity to cash in on all your favorite leagues, including college football and the NFL. They've also got hundreds of new casino games, including the coolest European slots, and their live dealers are waiting for you at the tables. Sign up at BetUS.com and use the promo code WZZN. That's BetUS.com and the promo code WZZN.
Football season is here, and as always, the best place to catch every game is downtown at Humphreys Bar and Grill. Humphreys is celebrating by bringing back their game day football specials. $2.50 Miller Lite, Yingling, and now $3.50 Yellowhammer Gold Pints. Anytime football is on, live music continues every night with 5 o'clock Charlie, and don't forget about brunch on Sundays with Microwave Dave. The best place to catch all the games all season long is Humphreys Bar and Grill.
What's better than Valley Equipment Rental? 2 Valley Equipment Rentals, and that's just what we have now. The original on the South Memorial Parkway between Drake and Airport Road, and their second location on North Memorial Parkway just north of Winchester Road. Valley Equipment is locally owned and has more skid steers, excavators, and lifts than anyone in the area, plus all the small tools that you need to get the job done like a pro. And if you are a pro, you need to check out the new North location now because Valley Equipment has what you need. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Another hot and sunny afternoon across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 90s. Temperatures only drop into the low and mid 70s as we head into the overnight. A mostly sunny sky for your Thursday afternoon. Maybe a slight increase in cloud cover through the heart of the afternoon, early into the evening, but it doesn't look like we're going to see any rain. That increase in cloud cover is going to come with a cold front that's going to move through the Tennessee Valley. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Chuck Oliver. Listen to me coming up today at noon. Now, back to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
What is he talking about, cold front, Chris? It's 95 today.
Maybe it's the flow of air.
88
like
tomorrow. Well, Friday they're calling for a high of 80. Is that a cold front? It'll be 55 degrees Friday night.
Ooh.
Oh, it's great football weather.
That's going to be great.
But that's not going to be until, late after the games probably. 80, 86. Well, Monday is 70. Oh, next week. Maybe he's talking about next week. It's glorious next week. 78, 77, 77, 77, 76. And sunny Monday through Friday of next week. Mid to high 70s.
Yeah, because it was pretty hot, I'll say, this morning walking the dog before
it's brutal today.
Yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely brutal today. And it's going to be warm. It'll be warm in Knoxville on Saturday. I mean, there's no doubt about that. When Florida gets up there to take on the Vols, it won't be Florida warm, but it'll be warm anyway. All right. This segment of the show is brought to you by, who is this segment of the show brought to? Oh, Valley Equipment. Valley Equipment Rental with their multiple locations now. Valley Equipment Rental can take care of you. You can get your job done like a pro with Valley Equipment Rental. The location out north of Winchester Road on the North Parkway is spectacular with the big excavators and dozers and all that kind of stuff. They got more skids, they got more lifts, they got more of everything than anybody in the Tennessee Valley. It's Valley Equipment Rental. Ross Roberts and his crew doing a fantastic job, and they help out with whatever it is that we're putting on the air. He's always there to help out, so we appreciate Ross and his team there. All right, joining us now, David Moulton from the SEC at CBS and Monday Night Football booth as well, and he joins us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. David, welcome in. How are you?
I'm good, Tom. I'm heading to Knoxville.
Heading to Knoxville. Let me get to that in a moment. I value your opinion on just general sports stuff. So I want to get your opinion on something before we talk about the games, before we get into Jalen Hurts and what you saw on Monday, and before we get into your take on Tennessee and Florida. Dude, 20-year-old kid caught the 60th home run ball of Aaron Judge. Of course, at Yankee Stadium, Yankee fan. 20 years old. They told him the ball would be valued between $100,000 and $150,000. He returns the ball to Aaron Judge, gets a bat, some other balls that are signed, a bat that is signed, takes pictures in the clubhouse with Aaron Judge by himself and some pictures with his crew of buddies that were at the game with Aaron Judge. If that's David Moulton catching that ball, $100,000 to $150,000, what do you do?
All right, I do have one question. Are we sure he was told that, hey, the ball, you could probably get $100,000 for it, but, a judge would really like it. What do you want to do? See, I don't know that he was told that the ball is worth $100,000. Okay, my understanding was he catches it. There's a bit of a mosh pit. He rolls out the side of it. He stands up. He goes, whew, thank goodness I didn't get crushed. He turns around. Yankee security's in his face. Mm-hmm. And they're like, hey, we want the ball.
It seemed like he made a choice. I mean, maybe he didn't know, but it would, and then the follow up to this would be, this is a 3-part question, not a 2-parter, a 3-parter. One, 61 they say is worth $200,000 to $250,000. 62 they say is worth in excess of $500,000. And is it different if it's your guy? What I'm saying is that, like, if it was Pete Alonso, you want to return that ball because it's Pete Alonso and you're a Mets fan and you want to be that guy. You want to be known as they're going to take a picture with Pete Alonso. But if it's Aaron Judge and you happen to be at the game and he's not your guy, does that change anything at all? So 100 to 150, 200 to 250, 500 plus. Where's your pain threshold?
Now, personally, I'm going to give the ball to the guy who hit it guy. Mm-hmm. I'm not into memorabilia. I'm also not into money because you can't take it with you.
Right.
So now I would understand, though, hey, this is worth something. So I would probably just go with security, and then I would start negotiating.
Mm.
Okay, get there and say, listen, I'm going to give you the ball, but, I'm a 20-year-old college student. I'll tell you what, I'll make you a deal. Can you pay for my college?
Yeah.
Because I'm not paying for college. My mom is. She's working 3 jobs. So tell you what, can you pay for my college? Okay, and we'll call it even.
Yeah.
I'm not, I'll shake your hand. Wait, tell you what, give me 4 tickets to a future game. I could take my buddies. It's expensive here. Give me 4 free tickets, a handshake, and can you pay for my college?
Yeah.
What do you say?
And see, that's spoken like a guy that is closer to can't take it with you than a guy who's 20 years old. I don't know. You know what I mean? At our age, we're like, what the hell, I don't need that much.
But Tom, like when I was 19 or 20 years old, and I was just about ready to get hired in the industry, I went and covered Mickey Mantle at a signing. And I literally sat next to him for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And at the end, he turns to me and he goes, hey, do you want anything? I could sign something for you. And I said, nope. I said, this is more than enough. I said, a handshake would be great. Okay. And I shook his hand and I left. And I remember one of his guys going, God, he could have signed something for you. It was, giving it to someone could have been worth something. And I'm like, that's not my thing. I got 4 autographs in my life. My grandfather took me to a Giants preseason game when I was 13 years old. And it was the 79 Giants. And I remember getting George Martin, Gary Jeter, Harry Carson, and Phil Simms autographs. That's it. It's the only autographs I've ever gotten in my life.
Yeah. The only one I ever asked for that I've gotten stuff sent to me that were signed, but the only thing I ever asked for was I had Tom Landry sign the back of my Fellowship of Christian Athletes breakfast ticket at the American Football Coaches Association convention in '92 when Alabama actually won a national championship, and it was the first Sears Trophy that was presented to Gene Stallings. Tom Landry spoke at the FCA breakfast, and it was so moving that afterwards I went up to him. I was 32-year-old coach at the time. And I went up to him with my ticket, and I asked him to sign the back of my ticket, and he signed my ticket for me. Now, you may or may not remember this. When I get to Florida, I'm 40 years old or so, 40 years old. One of my first assignments there was a remote I did down in Naples at a golf tournament that Gordie Howe was at. And Gordie sat down with me. He had a new book out. And he sat with me for 20 minutes. And afterwards, his handler said, he doesn't do 20-minute interviews with ESPN. I can't believe he just sat there and we just talked old school hockey the whole time. And at the end of it, Gordie pulled out a Gordie Howe. I'm looking at it right now on my Great Wall of Craps. And it's a 5x7 or so. and he signed it to Thom, personalized it, even spelled my name right, and Gordie Howe and all this kind of stuff, and I got it on the wall over there. So that's kind of a cool thing. But I mean, it's arguably one of the 5 greatest hockey players to ever lace up a pair of skates.
Absolutely. But I can assure you, at 20,
yeah.
Okay, first off, I didn't have any money.
Yeah.
And so money wouldn't have meant it. But my mom was working, it was just my mom and I growing up, basically. And I would have made a deal to relax the burden on my mom.
The picture with him in the locker room would be very valuable to me, personally, too. I mean, that's as good as, here's the ball. But the picture with the ball, with Aaron Judge in the clubhouse, and a signed bat and everything. I mean, that doesn't suck either. David Moulton with us here, talking a little bit of sports. Now, Monday night, you were in Philadelphia.
Yep.
You saw probably, no, I don't think you saw more Jalen Hurts games than I did, but you saw a lot of Jalen Hurts games live doing the CBS because they were on all the time. I never in a million years, and I love that kid, love the way he played for Alabama, love the character he showed by not leaving when they made Tua the starting quarterback in his 3rd year. Never in a million years thought that kid would look like that on an NFL field. I remember saying over and over again, he's not an NFL quarterback. He's not an NFL. He's just going to be a nice college quarterback, throws the ball into the ground on flares. He's not an NFL quarterback. It's amazing to see Jalen Hurts play like that. You've watched him since he was 18 years old, in your work with CBS. What was your take on just watching him perform in that game and the way he looks now as an NFL quarterback?
Well, there's no doubt that Jalen Hurts at Alabama was not an NFL quarterback. He wasn't. I mean, the coaching staff did not have confidence in him to throw the ball in between the numbers. Forget in between the hashes. They didn't have confidence to him to throw the ball in between the numbers. If you look back at the 1 year, half his throws were at the line of scrimmage or behind it. It was wide receiver screens, dump offs to running backs, and when he threw a ball between the numbers and the sideline so that it was either complete, drew a penalty, or it was incomplete.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they did not trust him throwing the football early in his career. He's clearly gotten better every year. The move to Oklahoma turned out to be a really good one for him developmentally. I will say on Monday, and he played great. I mean, Merrill Reese, longtime voice of the Eagles, came into the booth at halftime and said, it's been a long time since I've seen an Eagles quarterback play a first half the way he just did.
Mm-hmm.
But the Vikings played really soft coverage. It was like they were in a practice drill in which no one was allowed to be hit. I mean, and there was documentation afterwards that receivers were open by an average of 3.5 to 6 yards. So, I mean, the receivers were open, but yeah, Jalen looks like the greatest bargain in the league at $1 million.
Yeah.
$1 million, and he's got one more year under his rookie deal because this is just year 3 for him, right?
Right. Yeah, this is year 3 for him, and by the way, he and Tua are the it's funny. Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert. And they all went to bad teams, so I don't want to hear that argument. But Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert both have losing records. Since they became starters in the NFL. Tua Tagovailoa has the best record since he became a starter in the NFL. Second is Hurts, Jalen Hurts, and Hurts with that win went to 11-10 now as a starter. So Tua, we see him go off. I mean, 450 yards or whatever, 6 touchdowns and everything else. But it does lead to the question. It feels like Jalen, they both feel like they're in these years where a decision has to be made whether this is your guy going forward. And all of a sudden, Tua, with these dynamic tools that he has with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, it's just a spectacular. It's his Duper and Clayton part 2. If they told you right now you could have Jalen or you could have Tua, which one do you want?
Well, I've always been a Tua guy.
Mm.
I just think he throws the ball better, and I know Jalen brings the dimension that Tua doesn't bring. But I'm still a believer in you win a Super Bowl 8 yards behind center. The first quarterback that runs around that wins the Super Bowl, call me.
Yeah.
All right, to me,
Steve Young a little bit and Russell Wilson
and
a
I
little
know
bit,
Mahomes,
but they can beat you from the
but-
pocket. Yeah, they can beat you from the pocket.
Steve, if you look, Steve Young had the dimension, but he beat you from the pocket. I mean, I think when he retired with the highest quarterback rating in the history of the league.
Yeah.
And he didn't do that running.
Right,
You know,
right.
and
And even
Mahomes
John Elway,
Mahomes can run around.
Yeah.
But where did they beat you? Elway in his second Super Bowl threw for over 300 yards.
Right. And Elway, it was telling that Elway didn't win a Super Bowl until he became more at the end of his career when he was more just a pocket guy. He didn't win them when he was running around. Those three that he went to earlier in his career didn't pan out. So you're right. You're absolutely right about it. But I think
I would still pick Tua.
Yeah.
But to me, and the Eagles have 2 first-round picks next year. So they are well positioned so that if Jalen wasn't the guy, they could move on.
Right.
But now, I mean, they're going to get this year and potentially next. And then they could play the franchise tag game for 2 years if they want to. I mean, they're going to get a hell of a bargain.
David Moulton with us here on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. I kind of feel the same way, even though Bryce Young throws the ball a lot better, he's just so little. He's so slight, and Stetson Bennett is a Heisman candidate now, and he looks so much better. These guys are not NFL quarterbacks. I feel like they're not NFL quarterbacks, unless it's a different NFL. The NFL might have left me by. Maybe we could have a bunch of 5'11", 6-foot quarterbacks running around in the NFL, but I don't get the feeling that Bryce Young, even if he comes on and wins his second Heisman or whatever, I don't feel like Bryce Young is going to be a guy that's going to be a big-time NFL quarterback.
So you look at Bryce Young and you don't see an NFL quarterback?
I don't. I actually don't. I mean, he's just so small. Yeah.
I understand that. But is he smaller than Joe Montana?
Oh, yes. Montana was a solid 6'1" plus. Bryce Young is like 5'11". You know what I mean? He's not thick like Jalen is. See, Jalen, Kyler Murray, they're thick. Bryce is slight, it feels like.
No. There's no doubt he's skinny. Yeah. There is no doubt about it. And, he's not getting out of, that sack that he avoided against Texas. He ain't getting out of that sack on Sundays. No, that's not happening.
Yeah.
But I think he's a gifted thrower. And I think his instincts are phenomenal.
Mm. Interesting. All right, so you got to see Auburn and Penn State. You saw the way that thing went away in the second half. It was a game in the first half if Auburn could score touchdowns instead of field goals, but they at least were hanging in there at 14-6. It felt like Penn State made the adjustments in the second half. It also feels like we're whistling past the graveyard. I'm not a big fire the coach kind of guy, especially a coach that's been in there for 2 years. I didn't like the hire from day one. I didn't like the Ellen Green hire, but I didn't like the hire of Brian Harsin from day one. I said, this is not a fit. I'm not saying the guy can't coach. I'm saying he can't coach at Auburn. Are they just wasting time? I mean, it's just something they're just wasting time because they look a mess on the field, and they're still 57th in recruiting. I mean, they're not getting anybody for the future, and they suck right now. What are they doing with this guy?
Oh, no. I mean, if they could make him the coach of Arizona State right now, I think they would. I mean, if there was a way that you could make a trade and say, listen, we'll give him to you, and you give us 5 scholarships, we'll call it even. Oh, I think they'd make the deal yesterday. No doubt about it. I mean, Bigsby, best player on offense for Auburn, 4th-string tailback at Penn State.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 3 tailbacks.
Really?
No. There are 3 tailbacks on Penn State better than
I thought you were going to say Bigsby, they give him the ball 9 times. I mean, here's your stud running back. Give him the ball.
I understand that, but I'm just telling you in terms of ability, he would be 4th string at best, 3rd string at Penn State. I'll tell you what. I mean, listen, there are a lot of us who have doubts about James Franklin as a game coach. He's put a nice roster together. This roster reminds me of a young 2016 Penn State roster that he's going to have a nice little run here. He's got a 5-star backup quarterback to back up the 6th-year quarterback. Most of his guys come back. Penn State's set up to have a nice little 2-3 year run here.
Yeah,
They're
I'm blind.
good. They have more team speed than Auburn. I mean,
I'm blinded
they had far more depth than Auburn.
I'm blinded a little bit by James Franklin because he.
I'm standing here on the Thom Abraham patio.
Yeah, he named the patio at Vanderbilt after me. So I'm a little bit jaded when it comes to, you name something after me, like James Franklin did, then you made a fan for life. That's all it takes. Just name your patio after me. He named the back.
I'm standing here on the Thom Abraham patio.
The patio. Yes, I broadcasted my shows from there on the back patio when I was part of the Vanderbilt broadcast team, and he would actually let me do my actual show. But all the other coaches don't even let you see stretch at practice. James Franklin would say, "Come on down." He was so desperate for attention, for the Vanderbilt program. He said, "Come on down and do your show here from the back patio." And I would do my show from the patio overlooking practice at Vanderbilt. And then he would come over and talk to me during the show. He's calling it the Thom Abraham patio. He's going to win there.
I could say we all have our biases.
Yes.
Especially when coaches are good to us. Free food, free parking.
Yes.
Agree to come on the show whenever you want. It goes a long way with the media.
It does. There's no doubt. That's why I never said a bad thing about Larry Coker, because he was such a sweet man. He destroyed the program. He was so sweet, though. He was so nice. He used to come out with us, and it was a good guy. I'm trying to at SEC Media Days. I pick every game. It's a tradition. I pick every single game of the season, and I had Florida winning this game at Tennessee because that's what they do. And that's what they've done forever. And I am a prove it to me type of guy. It's now like 10 points. We've had our crack research team on it. We think it's 32 years since Tennessee was a 10-point favorite against Florida. I just had Mark Long on from the AP up there in Gainesville. He was very glum about the game. I'm trying to figure out a way that Florida can win that football game. But I feel like Tennessee is going to score in the 40s, and I don't know if Florida can get out of the 20s. What am I missing?
Well, right now, you're not missing anything. Florida is one of the 5 slowest-paced teams in college football right now. So Florida wants this game to be a slow Army-Navy type running game. They have not thrown a touchdown pass. Florida has not thrown a touchdown pass this year.
I thought they had Cam Newton at quarterback. I thought everybody had his Cam Newton, this Anthony Richardson.
Well, that was against Utah. That's not a. I will say this: the second play of the Kentucky game. There's a few people I know who thinks he got hurt second play of the Kentucky game, and he hasn't played the same way since. I will say he certainly doesn't look like the guy against Utah. But they have no passing game, so they're one-dimensional, and Tennessee has not been stopped yet. And Florida's defensive line has not really stopped anybody. I mean, they got worn down against Utah. They got worn out against Kentucky. South Florida outplayed them in the second half. Now, that's not a good sign.
No.
So to me, unless Tennessee screws this game up with like 3 turnovers or more, then they're going to win. And Tom, what's remarkable to me is if you go back 12 months, the Gators were a 16-point favorite in this game, and now they're an 11-point dog. That's a 4-touchdown turnaround in 12 months.
That is amazing. Well, they had 500 yards of offense against Tennessee, and that's the thing. I mean, Tennessee right now hasn't shown me yet that they're a great defensive team. I just don't know if Florida's good enough offensively. They ran the ball for 283 yards last year, but I don't think Florida can run the ball for 283 yards against anybody right now.
Well, they're going to have to because they may not throw it for more than 133.
Yeah.
But I don't think Tennessee is a great defensive team. I think it's going to take 2 more recruiting classes for him to get that defense to where he wants it. But, Tom, they may be able to win 9 games this year with that offense.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Besides Georgia and Alabama, and let's face it, who knows? I mean, Tennessee could be unbeaten hosting Alabama. I mean, this could be – and, Alabama's going to have to get it together a little bit. But let's just say they lose to Georgia and Alabama. Anybody else on their schedule right now you're willing to put an L next to?
Kentucky will be a problem.
Okay.
But that'd be it. That'd be the only other one that I can even think them giving. And going to LSU is yeah, exactly. Going to LSU is. I had them at 7-5, and I revised it after seeing the first 3 weeks. I've revised that to okay. I had them at 7-5. Now I'm thinking more 9-3. So
well, and for the record, I had Tennessee at 8-4 and Florida at 7-5, and I had the Vols winning this game when the season started.
Yeah, I thought that I had the Vols losing at South Carolina, but South Carolina looked like they're not nearly ready for that.
Well, listen, what people don't understand is just I would say the Gators have 40 to 45 guys that Napier would want on his team 2 and 3 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that the roster's not that deep. And even what they have, I mean, their wide receivers are nothing special.
Yeah.
And right now they clearly don't have a passing game. Their secondary is pretty good. Their D-line is thin. They got 2 good linebackers. But they're nothing special. They played over their skis against Utah, and Utah did not defend the run well. They played that game again today. I think Utah would win by 17 or more. The other thing is this is Florida's first game outside of the swamp.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how this young team, and also this will be Richardson's 5th career start. Be curious, and I think his only other road start, did he start the South Florida game last year? I don't even know if he started a game on the road yet.
Is this a more compelling game than the Texas A&M Arkansas game? I think Texas A&M Arkansas games would be a closer game. I think the storylines, because of the possibility that Tennessee is actually returning to some sort of prominence, I think that maybe the storylines are better for this Tennessee. This might be a coronation. If Tennessee wins by 20, this is this is the lookout moment, for Tennessee. But I think the better game would have been the Texas A&M Arkansas game. I wonder how much consternation there was in the muckety mucks who decide what games you're going to say that, you know what, that Texas A&M Arkansas game is going to be salty.
The minute Florida beat Utah, there was no consternation at all. Florida rates, if Tennessee has a pulse, they outrate both A&M and Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
And this game has the history and tradition that goes with it. So at least in the SEC, because obviously these two used to play in another conference as well. So, no. If Florida would have had to have lost to Utah and be 1-2, and Tennessee would have had to have lost to Pitt, I think, in order for there to be the chance. And A&M would probably had to be undefeated. If A&M and Arkansas were undefeated, Tennessee was 2-1 and Florida was 1-2, then I think it would have been we'd be in Dallas.
Yeah. Speaking of Dallas, you will be in New York. Giants have an excellent opportunity to open up 3-0. I mean, how crazy is that to even think of that? But they have that chance to beat the Dallas Cowboys, led by Cooper Rush, and be 3-0. And that is going to be, I think, a very good football game as well. And this is one where there's a little further separation between you and Troy. You a lifelong Giants fan. Troy, a former quarterback of the Cowboys. I would imagine that arm's length, maybe handing them snarky notes and things like that during this broadcast. I mean, I'm just saying.
Well, it's funny you say that because Joe's longtime stats guy is Ed Spida, and he's from Philadelphia, proud Philadelphian, big Eagles fan. And any time we do a game that the Eagles are in, whether they're playing the Cowboys or not, Spida will take a step back so that Troy could see him, and he'll look right at him. And he'll flap his arms like he's flapping his wings, like fly, eagle, fly. So we have, you know how like when you go to a Tennessee game, you have an over-under on how many times you're going to play Rocky Top?
Yeah.
Somewhere around 38.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we have a thing in the booth whenever we do an Eagles game as to how many times Spida is going to step back and do the fly, Eagles, fly. And it's usually around 5.5.
Do you have any idea who Buck likes? Because, I mean, it could be the Cardinals growing up in St. Louis. It could be the Rams. I mean, we all grew up with somebody. Joe Buck must, in the soul of his heart, he must have an NFL team that's his favorite team. Who's he like?
have to admit I've never heard him talk about, growing up. I mean, he'll tell the occasional story about his dad. So I'm guessing his favorite team was the St. Louis Cardinals.
Right.
Would be my guess.
Certainly baseball, but even the football Cardinals, I would think,
Right, and that's what I meant. So he's never really, I'll ask him as to whether hey, did your fandom go to Arizona or did you kind of wait for the Rams to show up? I'll ask him.
Yeah, ask
he still
him
lives
that.
in St. Louis, so
yeah.
Like I know he's a big Blues fan. He had season tickets all the way through when they won the Cup. I mean, so he's proud to be from there.
Ask him. That we would like to know that. Ask him that. Who does Joe? That's a sign of him being a great broadcaster. Who does Joe Buck pull for? And when he's if he was sitting there watching a game that he wasn't doing, who's he squeezing for? That'd be
I've never seen him pull for anyone in the NFL. He got a little excited a couple years ago when Indiana was the second best team in the Big Ten East because he went to IU.
Right.
And that's the only time I've ever, seen him, go, hey, how'd IU do today?
Yeah.
Whoa. Look at
really?
you asking for a score.
Very cool. All right. Appreciate you as always. We'll do it again next week. Have a good, safe week with your trips this weekend.
Well, thank you. And all the best to you and your listeners.
Hey, daughter's getting married tomorrow night, or Friday night. My youngest daughter. It's crazy.
Right. Once again, but it was all timed out to screw you. Right.
Screwed me over. I can't. Tomorrow night's tomorrow night's the rehearsal dinner with 130 people, and I'm trying to figure out: do I watch the game? The rehearsal dinner starts at 6. The game will kick at 7:30. Browns and Steelers, and how many of my sons huddle around me and my phone? Is it okay at 8 o'clock at the rehearsal dinner to be looking at the phone and watching the game? Not checking scores. I'm talking about watching the game. I'm not talking about checking scores. I'm talking about actually watching the game.
Well, there's two things I just want to add, and I know you're pressed for time. A, you don't have to start till 8:20 because they don't kick off till then.
7:20 Central. Yeah, 7:20 Central.
That's true. That's
right.
true.
Yeah.
But it buys you an extra 20 minutes. Yeah. That's number one. Number two, you're writing the check. You get to do anything you want.
No, I'm not writing a check for this one. Not for the rehearsal dinner. This is,
Well, trust me, you're writing the big
I'm writing enough of a check. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
Between hotel rooms and tuxes and wedding dresses. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, and not only that, you had a softball team you had to finance here.
Exactly.
So, you get to watch the game. Now, Friday, you're screwed.
No, Friday, I'm fine. I'm good Friday. I'm good Friday.
Okay.
So, all right, man. Appreciate you.
Be good.
David Moulton. All right, thanks. David Moulton, such a friend. All right, I don't know what I'm doing here. Let's get a break and see what Grizz does and get me back to close the show right after this on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This week on RVER, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm sorry, I can't operate on that vehicle.
But doctor, you took an oath.
That RV, it's my son's RV.
Oh, doctor, isn't there anything you can do?
I'm not a miracle worker, Sheila. I'm an RV surgeon, trained to save the lives of large, injured recreational vehicles, which is definitely a real profession.
When your RV really needs saving, Progressive has you covered. See if you could save with a leader in RV insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, covered subject to policy terms.
Your favorite sports book, BetUS.com, is back for their 28th year of NFL action. With the industry's biggest sign-up bonus of up to 200%, BetUS offers their members the opportunity to cash in on all your favorite leagues, including college football and the NFL. They've also got hundreds of new casino games, including the coolest European slots, and their live dealers are waiting for you at the tables. Sign up at BetUS.com and use the promo code WZZN. That's BetUS.com and the promo code WZZN.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of the Stanton Law Firm. Stan, I guess you are the Stanton in the law firm.
Yes, Wes, that's me, and we started the Stanton Law Firm so that myself and 4 other attorneys with me can help clients litigate, negotiate, and creatively solve legal and real estate problems.
Now, Stan, you grew up on a family farm in this area and have made a name closing on houses and land with your closing company, Jacob Title.
I grew up on a farm which used to be in the country. That, plus having closed on so many homes and farms, one of my colleagues started referring to me as a classic dirt lawyer. Now, I didn't know how to take that at first, that tag, but I realized that's exactly what I do and what I am.
Dan, I know the attorneys at Stanton Law Firm are regular listeners, and we plan to have you on periodically. You and I have seen have impacted this community.
Stay tuned, and you may hear about friends like Steve Booker, Clarence Johnson, Thomas Boyd, and even a few of those offensive line hogs like Hoss Johnson, and maybe you remember some other of those guys too.
I remember Clarence Johnson. He beat us one year. He was unbelievable.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Listen to the North Alabama High School Scoreboard Show, presented by Woody Anderson Ford, each Friday night on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Chuck Oliver. He's coming up next. Now remember, over on Zone 4 are the Braves. We have a little Paul Feinbaum coming up a little bit later on as well. And we have the drive with Wes and Steve coming up as well. Brandon has some questions about offensive line play. So I told him to try and get in later on with Wes. He's like, could you get Wes in studio and answer a couple of questions on offensive line play? But why don't you ask Wes on Wes's show, Brandon?
I don't know if he's downstairs, so I don't know. I'll be like, hey, Wes, come on up.
No, plus he wouldn't anyway because he's got, he's
got work.
He's got a little bit. He's got the Neighbors Wealth Management thing going on, so he's a little bit busy right now.
2-0 Braves, by the way.
2-0 Braves. Because they're still in it. Look, they don't care about this whole. They knew they were going to be in the playoffs. Yeah, they get back to work here. They got a division to win.
That's over here drinking champagne.
Philip, sorry we couldn't get to you.
No
it was
glasses.
just that kind of a show. By the way, tomorrow we will have not only Beat the Big Dog, but we'll start the Friday trifecta. The boys will have the Friday trifecta on Friday. Grizz and whoever he can convince to hang out with them for 2 hours. And we'll get all of that done.
Somebody.
In the meantime, this has been the Thom Abraham Show right here on 97.7 ESPN.